Hello and welcome back to another episode of the British Esports podcast live from Insomnia. So we have another wonderful guest. So we have Dan.
Hello.
How has your Insomnia been so far?
Fun, busy, stressful, but also fun.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been really good.
Nice combo, yeah.
Yeah, it's the combo of dreams.
Yeah.
Leave the cocktail.
Yeah. So, we're on the podcast today to talk to people about their careers, what they do in esports, and all the background various bits. Now people can potentially do something similar to what you're doing. So, for those who don't know who you are, do you mind just introduce yourself a little bit and tell us exactly what it is you do?
Yeah, so I'm Dan and I own the Goose House, which is a grassroots esports organisation. And I'm also the partnership director at Code Red Esports, which is an esports agency.
And how did you get started then? Where was esports your first start in that esports journey?
I would say about 15 years ago, and I don't look like that old, but like 15 years ago, I was grinding game battles quite hard in Call of Duty 4, Black Ops 1,
Nice.
and doing wager matches and making more money by doing that than I did from working in a cinema at the time.
Nice.
So that got me my first hunger for esports, shall we say. And then I got kind of trapped in a retail trap, working in just retail for years. I just applied for like every job that I saw in esports and gaming, even if I felt like I was underqualified. I just applied because I wanted them to see my CV and potentially just interview me. And that eventually happened with ESL, who I applied for the role digital campaigns manager. And then they interviewed me and realised I wasn't right for that role, but they wanted to create a role for me, which was account manager. So doing sales and partnerships kind of work.
Yeah.
And that's where I started. Started doing some heavy networking, learning from everyone around me. I'd say one of the people that I learned most from was James Dean, who is the MD of ESL UK.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of how I got started. I mean, I tell this to everyone: if you want a job in esports, but you don't really know what you want to do, just apply for everything. And then people that interview you might be able to find out what you're best suited to do.
Yeah. Nice, yeah.
So where did the idea for the Goose House come from?
So originally it was a Discord server for me and some ESL friends to play Call of Duty game battles in.
Nice.
And I was a controller player. Valorant came out. They were all keyboard and mouse players and played CS for years. I was rubbish. I got placed gold 1 and they got placed in Diamond or higher when the game first came out. I was like, okay, I need to find some new people to play this game with. So I just put the word out that, hey, I've got a Discord server, come and join. I need some people to play Valorant with. And suddenly loads of people started joining. And then some old friends of mine who I hadn't spoken to for like 10 years, they're like, hey Dan, the Discord server was called something different at the time. It was called GYG, which meant Gen Y gamers, because I'm a millennial, Gen Y.
Yep.
And yeah, an old friend was like, hey, we used to run a CSGO team called the Goose House. If you want to turn this Discord server into an org, I was like, no, not really. I just want to play Valorant. And then a few months later, when we started getting really busy and started running like weekly tournaments and stuff, just friendly little tournaments. They're like, Dan, you need some help, man. You need some help to deal with this growth. Let's make it into an org. I was like, all right, fine. I could do with the help. Let's do it. So my friends Deck and Dave come on board as co-owners. And yeah, now I think the service that we provide to be able to find other people to play Valorant with in your rank was the reason why it became so popular so fast. And the weekly tournaments that we did where we mix ranks and people can learn from the higher ranked players and everyone has a chance of winning and having their game casted live on stream was a really cool experience. So I think those two little things just made it blow up. So yeah, that's where the idea came behind it. I just need people to play Valorant with.
Yeah. So quite an interesting journey then to go from what was a small community to now one of the largest Valorant communities.
It was like 10 of us, and now there's almost 10,000.
So how does that feel for you personally to see that development of this small community grow?
It feels really good. Obviously, I can't take credit for doing it on myself because it's like the people that were passionate about the idea definitely helped with the journey of it. And the other companies that took notice of us and what we're doing as well as Riot, who we are basically partnered with. We run their influencer showdown for them anytime a new agent or map comes out. We've got licenses to run Beacon and Birds of Prey, which is a BTT Game Changers qualifier. And then Red Bull as well, who are amazing to us. They've given us all the facilities to run this stand that we have here. I don't know if you've seen it yet.
Yes, fantastic. Yeah, nice little stand.
Don't want to brag, but I think we've got the best stand here. Sorry, XL. But yeah, like I'm really proud of it. I think the only issue is that we're all volunteers. No one is expected to put like time in. They can put as much time in as they want. I've never made any money from it. I've spent my own money on it, and we'd love to be in a position where we could financially support ourselves and I can employ some of these people. But instead, I help them with their CVs. I'm their reference if they need one. Because I think that my name in the industry carries a bit of weight with my experience. And we have seen a few people get full-time work and good paid gigs as well. Like best example is someone called Megan Clark. She came on board as like voluntary esports admin for our first ever big Valorant tournament, and she smashed it. And then she got a hunger for it, and now she's the lead admin for Valorant here at i70, and she was for i69, i68.
Yeah.
Done stuff with Blast, for CS:GO and Valorant. So she's like the main Valorant admin for the UK.
Fantastic, yeah. It's cool that how it can all spawn just off like small. I think the small opportunities that come your way, you take advantage of them absolutely. I think is
sure.
really key.
I encourage people as well. Like if I see like a role on Hitmarker or something that I think people will be suitable for, I'll put it in the Discord saying, "You guys should apply for this." I'll back you up.
Yeah.
I know you can do it. So yeah, like absolutely. I think we offer people some valuable experience, but we don't expect too much in return. Obviously, when we get like our tournaments, like Beacon and Birds of Prey, normally they are sponsored and we have a budget and we can pay people on a freelance basis. But like general day to day, it's just voluntary.
So, having done sort of a few different things in esports over your career, what would you say has been your biggest highlight or achievement?
Ooh. You know what? It probably just because it's fresh in my mind, but I'd say one or two things. Even this here, like when I first came to Insomnia, I think it was i58 was the first one I came to, which was me and one of my friends, Mikey, and we didn't really know what to expect. We just came here and just had fun. I never thought in a million years I'd be invited here and have like my own booth with a giant reputable brand like Red Bull. So I'm pretty proud of that. And I'm also really proud of our Valorant tournament series, Birds of Prey. I think that offering that experience out to growing teams in Europe for women in esports is something that hopefully won't exist in a few years. Ideally, we want to be able to have give people the experience to be able to compete at the same level as everyone else.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's what Riot want as well, is to have VCT Game Changers not exist anymore. Maybe in 5 years' time, there'll be no need for it.
Yeah, it seems I've noticed that Valorant, I think, out of all esports, seems to be the closest to achieving that goal of having both men, women, marginalised genders all on the same team, where normally you'd expect like a fully male team.
Yeah.
I think it's really, really close to coming to that.
Yeah, for sure. I think it is. It's Riot are the only publisher that kind of back that as well. Like obviously ESL do something for CS, but Valve don't really.
Yeah, they're very hands off. Yeah. So speaking of all on the kind of like the job specific side, then, as someone who's managed this organisation for this amount of time, what kind of skills do you think are important when it comes to managing a brand or an organisation in esports?
I think being organised is very important. Being able to plan ahead as well and have contingencies is really important. Sometimes when you go to a live event, things do not happen the way you expected them to happen at all. Last year, when we first did our stand, we had to wing a lot of stuff, and sorry Chris, but we commandeered a lot of equipment as well. But being organised is definitely one. I think also having the confidence to network is really important. Be confident in your own ability, know your value as well. Like if you know that you're good at something like observers, if you know that you're a good observer, there's a point where you can be comfortable with not volunteering for things anymore and know your value and know that you should, be paid for events. So I think, being confident, being organised and knowing your value are quite important, I feel.
Yeah.
So, following from that then, like what advice would you give to someone who is wanting to get started in esports?
I think find out about what different roles there are. I think there's a bit of a what's the word I'm looking for? A stigma attached to, like, there's only pro player, content creator, or social media manager in esports, which is completely untrue. Like anyone that said, hey, can I get involved with Goose House? I'd love to do social media. There's so much more that you can do than post a few tweets. There's so many different opportunities, and some that would surprise you. You think, like, why does an esports org need this? Like product manager, which I think is a really cool role.
Yeah.
We have someone that looks after the end-to-end project for like Birds of Prey and Beacon. We call that, even though it's voluntary, we still call it product manager. So I think find out, do a little bit of research about what different roles there are outside of pro player, content creator, and social media manager. And if you feel that that's like something that you'd be interested to do, find out about a community or a grassroots organisation that does onboard volunteers. Give it a go. Like, we are open to it. If you come to us and say, hey, I'd love to try this, I've got good organisational skills, I'd be like, all right, cool, let's do it. Give it a go. If it's not for you, it doesn't matter. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a big deal. You've tried it, you've given it a go, great. But then you might be amazing at it, and then you might be like, okay, this is now my niche. So, there are a lot of other organisations out there that are willing to onboard volunteers and give them a go. Like Epic Man, for example, you can volunteer to come here. So give it a try. It might be some with your own free time that you sacrifice, but it's better than actually getting a job, hating it, and then being stuck in it. You can try it on the side.
Yeah, I think it's really important. That finding your niche, even if it takes however many amount of weeks, months, whatever it is. Finding your niche, I think, is really important. Not just for the fact of that'll be something you're good at and you can apply yourself at really well, but just for the enjoyment side of it as well. So, like you say, stuck in a dead-end job where you're not enjoying it is going to be like soul-crushing.
Yeah. We've had a lot of people in the Goose House who are like volunteers for us who have dipped and dived into different like roles, multiple roles. There's someone that was a stream team manager, then product manager, then esports admin, and giving it all a go. And I'm open to it. I think it's the best thing to just try something at least once. So volunteer for Epic Man, volunteer for Insomnia, and give it a go and see what you think.
Yeah, absolutely. So, speaking a bit about diversity and inclusion then, because obviously you guys are quite big on the diversity and inclusion side of things with the Birds of Prey and things that you're doing like that.
Yeah.
Why do you think that's so important then for the esports industry as a whole?
So I always throw it back to when I was a kid. Boys played video games, girls didn't. And I think like when you're growing up, it's like society has kind of like taught you that is the norm, right? I was in quite a my household was quite one way minded, shall we say, and I think that stigma has just been attached to society for forever. So I think it's important that it's showcased publicly as often as possible for that stigma to be removed. Now, this is just my own personal view on it. I could be entirely wrong, but normalising gaming for absolutely everyone is important, and not to. And obviously another thing about it as well is like, gaming's just for people that live in their parents' attic or whatever. They never leave the house. It's not true. I've left the house at least twice this year. So
nice.
Normalising it and putting it out in the open and putting it out to the world that people of all different races and genders. Gaming is for everyone, not just for boys. Will hopefully grow the future, and parents will be more encouraging of their kids' like hobbies and dreams when they're growing up. So, I think it's just normalising it and not letting it be some sort of niche anymore. Because there are, it's obvious, like the fact that there's game esports in the Commonwealth and I guess in some way the Olympics, that is normalising it to a degree. So it's getting there.
Yeah, slowly but surely, it's getting there.
Yeah. So our final sort of question for this segment then really is, where would you like to see Goose House go in the next 5 or so years?
So over the last 12 months, we have had a lot of other organisations that have funding, kind of asked me what it would be like if we could merge with them. But in hindsight, a lot of that has just been asking me how I do what I do with no money and trying to figure out exactly how we've been this successful without spending a penny. So I think it was more just to kind of lure me into a room and show me how much gold they have and actually not look to share it. However, I would still like to see that happen, but not for myself. There are so many people in the Goose House that have volunteered so much of their time and been so dedicated and passionate about making this work. I want to see them employed. So if we can merge with a bigger organisation, offer them our services and our IP, because Birds of Prey is our IP, and I think it's really valuable as well. And of course, we have a very active Discord community. We've seen bigger organisations that don't have like the activity in our community like we do.
Yeah. We
can offer that to them as well. And I would like, in turn, for them to employ some of the people at the Goose House into full-time roles of what they like doing. I'm not interested in selling it, getting myself a promotion. I mean, if someone wants to buy it off me, it's not. I would not be interested in taking the money for myself. I'd be interested in making sure that the people that are part of it get, again, employed. So I think the future of it is, being able to excel these people's careers, essentially, and get them paid for what they love doing, but full time.
Yeah.
That's what I really want.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that comes then.
Yeah. Hopefully.
So, moving on to this interesting little game that we have prepared for all our guests.
Right.
How familiar would you say you are with charades?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
It's like a New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve game that you play when you're a kid with your family.
So this is a very scuffed version of that. So we have on this lovely bit of cards, if I can get this clip off, that'll be a good start. There we go. On this deck of cards, we have esports titles, game titles, various different bits and pieces. You're going to have to mime them to us for us to try and guess what it is on the card.
Okay.
So you can do as many actions as you want.
Yeah.
We're allowing one word.
Yeah.
So you can say one word. It can't be a word in the actual game, and it can't be a name of a character in the game. But other than that,
somebody that kind of describes it.
Yes.
Yeah. So if it's Fortnite, you'd say like building.
Yes, something like that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're also allowed. We've seen a lot of people like hum or make like noises or like try to do music. So that's allowed apparently as well. We'll allow that. You've got a minute on the clock to try and get through as many of this pile as you can.
Sounds fun.
So
you get one skip.
Yes, one skip.
Okay.
So,
okay.
I'll see how we fare. So hopefully the deck.
Hopefully the first one's Valorant.
Yeah. Okay, Brian, you count us in and we'll begin.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Building.
A Fortnite. Yeah. Perfect. Okay.
RP.
League of Legends? No? RP.
Does Dota have RP? I don't know.
Valorant? No, it's not Valorant. What else? RP.
GTA.
GTA.
Yes.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Two.
Okay.
Overwatch 2. No.
Grenades. PUBG? It's not PUBG. Destiny 2?
Call of Duty. No.
What is that? We're so bad at this, at the guessing part of it. Time's up.
Skip.
I'm so sorry.
What was it?
CSGO.
I was trying to say two because two's coming out, and I was doing knife action.
Knife, the grenades.
Oh no!
Skipped rocket. Like,
I picked up that as well.
Oh no, we would have got that one easier.
I'm so sorry.
CS:GO.
So.
Am I the worst?
No, we've
by
had 0.
far, no.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. So
We've
I
had
know that
0.
I definitely won't be the worst all day. Who got 0?
Balin, the founder of the Esports Fight League.
Okay, cool.
So
He was like doing proper charades. He was like
Imagine
making
Fortnite
words.
being the first one.
I know, that is mad that was the case. Yeah, really good actually. Okay, well, while Brian is sorting that, and to finish us off, we just have a couple of rapid fire questions for you, if you could answer them.
Yep.
What are 3 things that are essential to bring to an esports or gaming event like Insomnia?
Deodorant.
Good shout.
Phone charger, and a camera.
What's your most anticipated game release this year?
Starfield.
Oh, Starfield. Hey, 2 in a row, Starfield.
Yeah.
No one's mentioned Starfield all weekend.
I'm a massive casual gamer
Yeah.
as well. I'm a huge Zelda fan. No, sorry, Zelda. What am I talking about?
Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah. I
So
bought
good.
pre-ordered the special edition. So
Oh, brilliant. Are you bothered about this fancy Switch that they're bringing out as well? I'd quite like to get that.
I'm tempted.
Yeah.
I'm tempted, but I know that I don't play it enough. So yeah.
That's fair. If you could attend any esports events, what would you like to attend?
PCT Masters in Tokyo.
Nice.
That's how I play this year.
And if you could compete in any esports event? would you
PCT
like to-
Masters.
Yeah. And what's a game that you didn't think you'd enjoy, but actually did?
Valorant.
Played it. Yeah, Valorant. What was not?
Because I hated CS:GO.
Ah, okay.
And when I first downloaded Valorant, for some reason my Riot account was American, so I couldn't play with any of my friends in the beta. So I was playing on my own on 200 ping, and I don't like this.
Yeah.
So I almost didn't play it.
Gosh, what a different story that. Right, well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast
Thanks
today. Where can people find you if they're looking for your content and Goose House?
Discord.gg/TGH, Twitter.com/The Goose House, or mine is _ELSD, but it's pronounced LSD. It's just my initials, kind of. Dan Ellis, LSD.
Nice, perfect.
Not
Just clarify, yeah. Well, Dan, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It's been an
Thank you.
absolute pleasure to speak to you today. Thank you everyone who's been tuning in from home. If you enjoyed this content, please make sure to keep an eye out for all the other Insomnia related content that we have coming your way. If you enjoy British esports content in general and you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, like it, hit that notification bell, all those other things that we like to say. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Bye.